Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and we're in a little bit of a lull between waves. And what do we do during the time in between waves of, new and exciting figures? Well, some people, they look at other lines and other things, and some people they look at, I don't know, whatever it is that they think could be of interest. But me, because I am in a unique position of being kind of late to the game, I still have the luxury of sticking with some little plastic robots. And this is the Transformers Generations Deluxe class Hoist. Now, granted, he's a little bit of an older figure now. But if you're new to the game, maybe you haven't seen this guy yet. Maybe you looked him over. And why is it appropriate to take a closer look at this guy now? Well, two reasons. The first is, it seems like we're getting an influx of like third-party masterpiece and style versions of him. And not long ago, I did a video on the Combiner Wars Trailbreaker and some custom paint I did with him. But there was a version that came out a couple of years earlier based on this same mold. I'm just curious how it is that they line up. Well, rather than look at the same figure again, I figured I'd look at somebody that we have not focused on here on the channel. So stick around, and we're going to look at this guy in all of his glory. He is the, front line medic for the Autobots. He's creative, and to boot, for some reason he has a British accent. I don't know why. I never really understood that. Anyway, stick around. We're going to look at everything awesome that has to do with Transformers Generations Hoist in the latest GotBot True Review. Okay folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and as always, check me out everywhere. Check out Machinery Man and the Everything Factor, and we're going to look at this guy and measure him as we always do, with paint apps, posability, playability, and, of course, transformation. Paint apps for this guy. They're pretty good in both modes, to be honest with you. I saw it and I thought, yeah, that looks like Hoist. Few things are not perfect. He shouldn't have this extra green here above his foot. He shouldn't have a green head. That should be more gray. He doesn't have his little orangey wing pieces if you know the original animation. And of course he has, and I'll point this out now, he has two hands. Why would Hoist have two hands? Well, it's just the way the mold is, and honestly, a lot of people probably don't remember that one of his hands was actually a blaster hand. And he comes with this. It is his, it's really his hook for when he's in tow truck mode, but you fold up the hook piece, you fold it in, you bring it down, and it becomes his blaster. Now, some people mask the fact that he has a hand on this side by putting the blaster in there, and you can do that. Some people even go as far as to flip the hand in and place the blaster in the port on his arm, and you can certainly do that. Either way, I think it makes it a little bit more accurate. But, and of course his chest doesn't quite come down as far. There is a little bit of an alternate, I suppose you could call it, transformation, where you kind of don't push the back down as far. And by not pushing the back down as far, this actually lies down a little bit further on the stomach. It's not the way it's supposed to be. This is the way that it's supposed to be, and this is the way that the guy comes in package. So overall, as a representation of Hoist, what am I going to give this guy? He's about an 8. He has a few imperfections. He's good. He's great. But he has a couple of imperfections. The thing that does still bring him up to an 8 is that the green is pretty much where the green should be, except for that head. He does technically have his windshield chest piece here The orange is where it generally should be. He looks good. Posability, playability for this guy. In vehicle mode, he rolls pretty good as a truck, I must say. The head goes left and right. It doesn't really look up or down, but it goes left and right. The arms, they can go all, and I just unpegged him. The arms can go all the way around, 360. They can go very far out. Nice bend at the bicep. Not quite a 90-degree elbow. A little under 90-degree for the elbow. The waist has a swivel, which I think is nice. The legs can go out and back. Nice knee to 90 degrees. Thighs swivel. Legs go all the way out to the side, which is fantastic. And because of transformation, they can do this. This here. That's a thing it can do. And the toes, because of transformation, they can tilt forward, and that's about it for this guy. For some reason, my head always likes to turn to the side like this. I don't know why. I really don't. It's an okay face sculpt. The light piping doesn't really show very well because of this piece behind him, but it's there. Even though personally, I would prefer it if his eyes were blue, as they should be. His shoulders, there's a little, I guess I'm going to call it a notch, where up here on the side there is a side mirror, and there are discs for the shoulder. Let's see if I can show it. There are like gray disc pieces for the shoulder. Those gray disc pieces have a little notch in them that goes in over the side mirror. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this guy. While all that is great, those don't really peg in. It's just that they're tight and don't really move around. It's a really similar sort of shoulder assembly to like the Classics Universe Sunstreaker, Red Alert, side swipe type of shoulder, you know, construction. It's okay. It's a bit of a pain come transformation. Little bit of a pain come transformation, but it's okay. Posability, playability, I can pretty much do what I want with the guy for the most part. I don't like that the elbows aren't quite as bendable as I would like for them to be. So I'm going to give his posability, playability somewhere around, again, an 8. It's good. It's not perfect, but it is still really good. So this guy's scoring an 8. Now, transformation. We got to get into transformation. And you might ask yourself, GotBot, why? Or you might ask me, I guess, GotBot, why haven't you custom painted this guy? You've done it a lot of times. Why not this guy? I didn't because in terms of his body, I'm okay with the paint being the way it is. As far as his head goes, because of where it's located and whatnot in transformation, I really didn't want to paint it. I suppose I could have painted the front and the sides and left the back, but I don't know if it's really worth it, to be honest with you. The bottom line is that this guy is a great modern day representation, even if he's not perfect. Now, before I guess I get into the transformation, here he is with the, actually I'll do it here. Here he is with the Combiner Wars. Let's see if I can get both of these guys a little better positioned here. Here he is with the, my custom, I should say, Combiner Wars Trailbreaker. The Trailbreaker that came out with this same mold, I think he was really good. And I was going to kind of angle to get him because I passed him over the first time, and I unexpectedly picked up this guy. Now I kind of dig the fact that they look similar but have a different, look forward, Hoist, look forward, but have a different, you know, kind of scheme to them. And they do scale quite well, of course. If anything, Trailbreaker looks a little bigger, just because of the way the backpack worked out. So taking, pardon me, taking him out of it. Transformation. Okay, we'll finally get into that. This guy's scoring an 8. We need to take his, we'll call it his gun piece. I didn't anticipate him falling over. He stands like a champ usually, by the way. We take out the gun piece, and just like I said before, we open it, we take out the hook, and it looks like this, and we're going to just lay this aside for now. Now we get into the transformation for this guy, and it's actually a kind of a strange yet interesting transformation. So let's do this. The toes flip up, just like that. Nice, easy. The legs, and I feel like that with this guy, I think what they did with the legs was, it's really interesting, you know, when you look back at some of these figures that are a little older now, but you can look at them in a new light in comparison to something that is more modern day. And I feel like that what they did with the legs here was kind of a bit of practice for what they were going to do with Combiner Wars. Combiner Wars, of course, the front and back open and they go up over the thigh. This guy swivels out to the side and swivels out to the side, and then the hinges come up on the side, the hinges come up on the side, and the legs come together. And they should tab in. There, they come together and they just tab together. It's pretty straightforward, and honestly, underneath you don't really notice anything in the way of like robot kibble. So it looks good and it cleans up nicely. Next we need to kind of get the, well, I guess we could turn the head around, because the back of the head should be facing out and then the head pushes down. This will become part of the roof. So that's why I didn't paint it, because the roof, you know, it should be green. We lift up that chest piece, and you'll notice there are a couple tires under here, and we take this abdomen piece and we untab it. There's, see if I can show it now as I untab it, and of course it came out accidentally before. There's a little hole right here in the abdomen, and a little tab right here on the edge. And the tab, of course, went into the abdomen in robot mode. You push that up and it becomes the hood. Just like that. Beautiful Autobot symbol on it, by the way. Beautiful, beautiful Autobot symbol. I love it. And we straighten that back. And you can see how this is coming together as a truck. Now comes the trickiest part of this transformation. The arms. Fold in the fists, if you haven't already done so, on both sides. Just like I have done here. Next, you're going to want to take this gray disc assembly, and you're going to want to rotate it so that it's really out of the way. You take it and you rotate it. I find rotating it back works best, and you're going to kind of want it, is that the position I want it in? Maybe even up a bit more than that. There, you're going to want to rotate it so that the shoulders come well up like this. And I mean, you can see over here the difference in the shoulder positions. Take it, rotate it, and that shoulder should also be facing well up like this. Aha! Next, you open the arms and open the arms. And you're going to want to position them so that the part you just opened faces out to the side, because it's going to become the door. Position them so that that part faces out to the side so it can become the door. Now, that being said, this is really just to kind of get you oriented, because now you're going to push these arms together. And when you push these arms together, the tires are going to come to the outside, and you're aiming to have this tab here go into this slot here. And then you're going to have to reposition the forearms. That's pretty much a guarantee. So you take them, you really need to push them at the same time, push them all the way up to make sure that the hood is up. Now you see that the arms are out of position again. Just turn them and turn them. Take those doors up on the side and they should be able to just fit in. There is a little tab back here on the door that goes in to a little notch right behind his leg, right here. Little notch there. Get that. Some people, maybe I've done this out of order, but some people like to do the arms first and then put the legs in. And you know what? There's an argument to be made for transforming them that way. There. And I'd like to say there you have him in truck mode, but I'm not quite there, because if you will remember, we had a gun that we turned into the hook piece for his vehicle mode. I suppose you could put it up here in this 5mm port if you want to for some weird reason. There's a little spot down here between the two legs that, again, I guess you could put it there if you wanted, but that's not where it really belongs. Behind the window, there is a little port in here behind the window, and there is a little peg right here. You put the peg into the port behind the window, and boom, you have a hoist in his truck mode. Love it. He does roll pretty well. Some people have complained and said it's a small truck, but I find it looks like a pretty believable truck. I find it looks like a pretty good truck. Now, I guess contraption back here for being a tow truck isn't as complicated as it was on the original or on the animation, so that's a little bit off. That is part of that mark of 8 also. But I like the way that it turned out. I think it was a successful outing. Now you can get a third-party kit that does give you the extra pieces that you're missing here. I don't have it, but it does exist. So if you want to make him a little more perfect, a little more hoisty, you can. His transformation is pretty quick, pretty easy, nothing really fiddly. The arms just slightly fiddly. And he cleans up really nice underneath. He's quite clean underneath. I love it. I love him. I really do. I'm going to give his transformation a 9. I think it's one of the better ones that we've gotten in the line. It was a good mold. It's still a good mold. And I am happy to add Hoist to my collection. Overall, he is a good 8.5, 8.75. He is not perfect, but he is pretty great. Anyway, that's it for this one. I know it's a little bit of a look back. I certainly appreciate you giving me a bit of your time. There's some old, there's some new, there's some really old about to come down the pike. I'm still certainly working on the stop motion series, so there's a lot more to come. Thanks for joining me. And as always, I look forward to the next time that you and I have a visit right here inside the videos.